You know that moment a student misbehaves and your first instinct is just to clamp down, right? But what if that gut reaction is actually holding us back? Well, today we're going to dig into a much more effective way to respond, and it's all drawn from the 10th predictable practice in Chris Perry's inclusive classroom framework. And get this, it's built on two incredibly simple principles that can literally change everything in your classroom. So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to tackle what's called the discipline dilemma. Basically, why so many of our old school methods just don't cut it. Then we'll introduce the two heavy hitters that form the solution: consistency and proportionality. After that, we'll dive into the proof, the actual research that shows this stuff works. And of course, we're going to give you a practical 3-step plan to make it happen. And we'll wrap up by looking at the incredible payoff for your entire classroom climate. All right, let's talk about the discipline dilemma. When a student acts out, what's the default response we see so often? It's that get tough mentality, right? Using these really strict, punitive consequences. And on the surface, it kind of makes sense. A strong reaction should stop the behavior, shouldn't it? Well, here's the thing. The research, like this 2023 finding from the Brookings Institute, tells a completely different story. It turns out those get tough tactics, they're really just a temporary band-aid. Sure, they might squash a behavior for a second, but they do nothing to solve the root cause. And worse, they can actually backfire and create even more negative consequences. So yeah, it's pretty clear we need a whole new playbook. And that new playbook is built on two incredibly solid pillars: consistency and proportionality. Now, these aren't just fancy education buzzwords. They are the absolute heart of a discipline model that works and, just as importantly, is fair. So let's break down what they actually mean. I want you to think of these two ideas as a powerful 1-2 punch for fairness. First up is consistency. As Cantor's work points out, this is all about predictability. When our students know exactly what to expect, good or bad, the discipline feels fair. It's not personal. Then proportionality comes in, and that brings the logic. Marzano's research really highlights this. The consequence has to fit the action. A small mistake gets a small consequence. This helps students connect their choices to the outcomes, and it maintains respect because your response is seen as just, not totally random. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? You bet it does. There's some really solid research that shows when you get these principles right, you create a powerful learning environment with results you can actually measure. Let's look at the evidence. A fascinating study from Huang back in 2018 actually put a name to this perfect environment: an authoritative school climate. Now, this is the sweet spot. It's not authoritarian, all rules, no relationship, and it's not permissive, all relationship, no rules. It's that powerful, almost magical combination of high expectations and high support. So what happens when a school nails this, when they actually manage to create this kind of climate? The result is pretty profound, and it directly tackles one of the single biggest challenges in school discipline today. It means fewer out-of-school suspensions. And here is the absolutely crucial part of this finding. That reduction was seen across all demographic groups. This isn't just about being effective, it's about being equitable. It means keeping more kids in the classroom where they can actually learn. That's a huge win. But wait, there's more. The evidence just keeps piling up. A massive meta-analysis, which is like a study of a whole bunch of other studies, found something really interesting. It turns out consequences by themselves are surprisingly bad at changing behavior for the long haul. The real magic happens when you pair those consistent consequences with positive reinforcement for the behavior you do want to see. It's the combination that works. Okay, so the why is super clear, and the evidence is totally compelling. The big question now is, how do we actually do this? Well, here is a simple 3-step plan to bring consistency and proportionality to life in your classroom. But hang on, before we even get to step 1, there is a critical prerequisite. This is so important. Take the time to really know your school's and your district's existing discipline policies. Aligning your classroom plan with the bigger system is going to save you so many headaches, and it ensures that what you're doing is supported and consistent for students, no matter whose classroom they're in. All right, here's the plan in action. Step 1, document it. Create a super clear flowchart or a code of conduct that maps specific behaviors to proportionate consequences. This takes all the emotion and guesswork out of your response. Step 2, teach it. Never ever assume students just know the rules. You have to explicitly teach them your expectations and what the responses will be. And step 3, and honestly, this is the most critical part: apply it consistently for every single student every single time. This is where that trust and fairness are truly forged. So you put in all this work. You've created your system, you've taught it, you're applying it consistently. What's the big payoff? What's the ultimate goal here? Let me tell you, it is about so much more than just stopping misbehavior. The payoff is nothing short of a total transformation of your classroom. First, you get to remove all those constant distractions from unruly behavior, which, as Education Weekly points out, finally opens the door for real deep learning. You're not just punishing kids, you're actively strengthening their behavioral skills for life. And maybe most importantly, as the National Association of School Psychologists emphasizes, you are building an environment that truly guarantees safety and dignity for every single person in that room. And that's really what this all boils down to, isn't it? This isn't some strategy for control, it's a framework for building a community. By responding with consistency and proportionality, you're not just managing a classroom. You are intentionally and thoughtfully building a productive, respectful, and supportive environment where every single one of your students can thrive. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Think about your own classroom, your own practice. What is one small procedure or routine? I'm talking tiny. Maybe how you start class or how you handle students calling out. What's one thing you can make just a little more consistent starting tomorrow? Because that one small step, that's how a big change begins.